Good morning. So let's get into it. John 18. After saying these things, Jesus crossed the Kidron Valley with his disciples and entered a grove of olive trees. Judas the betrayer knew this place because Jesus had often gone there with his disciples. The leading priests and Pharisees had given Judas a contingent of Roman soldiers and temple guards to accompany him with blazing torches and lanterns and weapons. They arrived at the olive grove. Jesus fully realized all this was going to happen to him, so he already came to the knowledge that this was about to happen. So he stepped forward to meet them. So instead of running, he faced this situation head on. "Who are you looking for?" he asked. "Jesus the Nazarene," they replied. "I am he," Jesus said. And Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. As Jesus said, "I am he," they all drew back and fell to the ground. I thought that was cool. But I was trying to get a visual of that, but that's pretty cool. Once more, he asked them, "Who are you looking for?" And again, they replied, "Jesus the Nazarene." "I told you that I am he," Jesus said, "and since I am the one you want, let these others go." He did this to fulfill his own statement, "I did not lose a single one of those you have given me." Then Simon Peter drew his sword and slashed off the right ear of Malchus, the high priest's slave. But Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword back into its sheath. Shall I not drink from the cup of suffering the Father has given me?" I thought this statement was pretty cool because normally people would have been like, "Yeah, cut his ear off, you know what I'm saying, so I can get away." Not Jesus. He literally told Peter to put his sword up. That does he not get to drink from the cup or to suffer the way he doesn't get to participate in the suffering that was part of the plan. So that was kind of important. Verse 12. So the soldiers, their commanding officer, and the temple guards arrested Jesus and tied him up. First, they took him to Annas, since he was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, the high priest at the time. Caiaphas was the one who had told the other Jewish leaders, "It is better than that one man should die for the people." 15. Simon Peter followed Jesus, as did another of the disciples. That other disciple was acquainted with the high priest, so he was allowed to enter the high priest's courtyard with Jesus. Peter had to stay outside the gate. Then the disciple who knew the high priest spoke to the woman watching at the gate and and she let Peter in. The woman asked Peter, "You're not one of the man's disciples, are you?" "No," he said, "I am not." Because it was cold, the household servants and the guards made a charcoal fire. They stood around it, warming themselves, and Peter stood with them, warming himself. The high priest questions Jesus. Inside, the high priest began asking Jesus about his followers and what he had been teaching them. Jesus replied, I love that he's bold in this. "Everyone knows what I teach. I have preached regularly in the synagogue, in the temple where the people gather. I have not spoken in secret. Why are you asking me this question? Ask those who heard me. They know what I said." And so in that moment, he is transitioning himself from being the teacher, and he is trusting that the message that landed on good ground would be testified about from those that listened. The one of the temple guards standing nearby slapped Jesus across the face. "Is that the way to answer the high priest?" he demanded. Jesus replied, "If I said anything wrong, you must prove it. Then if I'm speaking the truth, why are you beating me?" So in this statement, he's saying, if I'm a liar, prove it. But why would you beat me for being honest? Then it basically establishing the fact that he is being honest and they don't want to hear the truth. Then Annas brought Jesus and sent him to Caiaphas, the high priest. 25. Meanwhile, as Simon Peter was standing by the fire warming himself, they asked him again, "You're not one of the disciples, are you?" He denied it, saying, "No, I am not." But one of the household slaves of the high priest, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, asked, "Didn't I see you out there in the olive grove with Jesus?" Again, Peter denied it, and immediately a rooster crowed. So in this moment, what Jesus had told Peter he would do about denying him 3 times before the rooster crowed, it had come to fruition. So this is a prophetic word from Jesus coming to fruition, one of many. 28. Jesus' trial before Caiaphas ended in the early hours of the morning. Then he was taken to the headquarters of the Roman governor. His accusers didn't go inside because it would defile them, and they wouldn't be allowed to celebrate the Passover. So Pilate, the governor, went out to them and asked, "What is your charge against this man? We wouldn't have handed him over to you if he weren't a criminal." They retorted, "Then take him away and judge him by your own law," Pilate told them. So basically the Romans are saying at this point, like, we don't want any part of this. You judge your own person. And it says, only the Romans are permitted to execute someone, the Jewish leaders replied. So at this point, this is where you get the terminology that religion is rooted in murder, because it wants to kill anything that God is trying to do that looks like outside of what they think it should be, outside of what they interpret the law as. Because Jesus, he came to fulfill the law. He came to fulfill the need for a sacrifice for sin. He didn't come to eradicate the law. You know what I'm saying? He came to fulfill it, like, for us. And he filled every single box that was necessary for us to have a sacrifice and a way to be able to meet with God. But before Jesus came, we had to go by those laws, which nobody could really meet those laws. So it was a mess. Anyways, let's go back on. So, only Romans are permitted to execute someone, the Jewish leaders replied. 32. This fulfilled Jesus' prediction about the way he would die. 33. Then Pilate went back into his headquarters and called for Jesus to be brought to him. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asked. Jesus replied, "Is this your own question, or did others tell you about me?" 35. "Am I a Jew?" Pilate retorted. "Your own people and their leading priests brought you to me for this trial. Why? What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not an earthly kingdom. If it were, my followers would fight to keep me from being handed over to the Jewish leaders, but my kingdom is not of this world." Pilate said, "So you are a king?" Jesus responded, "You say I am a king. Actually, I was born and came into the world to testify to the truth. All who love the truth recognize that what I say is true. All those that love the truth recognize what I say is true." Say that again. All those who love the truth recognize what I say is true. So all those that do not love the truth, they think that the scripture is a lie. I've heard people say that the truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. You see what I'm saying then? Yes. "What is the truth?" Pilate asked. Then he went out to the people, and told them, "He is not guilty of any crime, but you have a custom of asking me to release one prisoner each year at Passover. Would you like me to release this king of the Jews?" But they shouted back, "No, not this man. We want Barabbas." Barabbas was a revolutionary. What's interesting to me is that the people would choose someone evil, someone sinful, someone that had done actual wrong before they would choose someone innocent, before they would choose the truth. And this is where that statement of those who hate the truth, or the truth will sound like hate to those who hate the truth. This is literally it, because they would rather have someone in their filth, someone broken, someone terrible, than they would have something good and wholesome and true. And this is the conflict between the flesh and the spirit, because our flesh naturally, like, we are born into sin, so we are drawn to sinful behavior. We're drawn to do the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? There's a way that seems right to man, but in the end it leads to death. And so there's a way in our heart, there's a way about us that wants to do the wrong thing. Like, we're drawn to it. Like, it's just flesh. It is being human, being in this world. And so we're naturally drawn to doing the wrong thing. And I caught myself after reading this, listening to the trial, the denial, all of it. And I found myself in a lot of this scripture. Like, How many times have I denied Christ? Oh, golly, more than Peter. How many times have I caught myself questioning God? Questioning God and fighting with the choice to do what I wanted to do opposed to what He had for me. Or how many times have I rejected the truth in favor of a lie? Many, many times. So yeah, in this passage we see that Jesus is coming to the end of his part, his story, and we see him fulfilling many laws, many prophetic words in this moment. He is truly stepping into the sacrifice part of things. And anyways, that's all I got. I will see y'all next week for 19.